The world has been shaken in terms of food production, export and import due to pandemics, wars, insecurity, poverty and other natural disasters. Due to their large landmass and fertile soil, third world nations like Zambia and Nigeria, among others, are now being looked up to by affluent nations like the United States to create and export drought-resistant crops. Stakeholders from the Global Food Security Organization spoke on the necessity of this major decision.
There are multiple food systems in the world. We talk about the global food system, but in fact, food systems are also local and they're different. There's a diversity of those. And we learned that in some ways, all of them are precarious. So what happens in the Ukraine, for example, has ripple effects throughout the world, but those ripple effects can be quite different. We have to recognize that the chief drivers of the food crisis are still with us. And it behooves us, therefore, to be looking at solutions for all of those or adaptive measures.
International organizations like the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, IMF, have already issued famine warnings. Nonetheless, the stakeholders contend that it is up to the government to address the looming disaster.
So, specifically Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, they all face high food insecurity situations. We see a lot of very dire food insecurity, stunting and wasting among the children. We alone cannot solve these problems. It's going to take partnerships and it's going to take efforts by governments themselves and good governance along the way. In other words, in some cases dealing with creating an enabling environment.
They also detailed the measures being taken by the United States to address the problem that is already engulfing nations like Mauritania and Mali.
We've invested humanitarian assistance in some 55 countries last year to the value of about $11 billion. Much of that additional funds provided by the U.S. Congress because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We've also got a global hunger initiative that is exactly focused on what are the right systems and approaches to advancing agriculture. And a lot of the work that we're doing is trying to create new varieties that are drought resistant, that are pest resistant, that are water resistant. So deep investments in research that are absolutely fundamental if we're going to grow more food in a changed climate.
Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres reiterated the importance of all countries working together as one to promote unity.
We have multiple famines this year, and next year could be even worse. But we can avoid this catastrophe if we act now. And as our meeting team reminds us, if we act together to craft bold and coordinated policy responses.
Uloma Oimachi, ITV News.